Hey guys, today in my devotional readings, I was finishing up in First Chronicles in the Old Testament, and there's a section in there where David is sort of winding down his life and his kingship over Israel, and he's sharing his final words with his son Solomon. I want to go over David's last words with you today because I think there's a lot in there, especially for dads today, as you think about raising your sons. Look at what David says here in chapter 28, verses 9 and 10. He says, "Solomon, my son, learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. Worship and serve him with your whole heart and a willing mind, for the Lord sees every heart and knows every plan and thought. If you seek him, you will find him, but if you forsake him, he will reject you forever." So take this seriously. The Lord has chosen you to build a temple as his sanctuary. Be strong and do the work. All right, let's pick this apart and apply this to our own lives, dads. First of all, he says, learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. I love how intentional David is being here when he's speaking about spirituality with his son. He says, worship and serve him with your whole heart and a willing mind. Dads, I know that probably as a dad, you think that your job is to teach your kid how to throw a baseball, which is great, or how to shoot a basketball. All that is fine and well. But dads, I want to challenge you to think of yourself, because this is how the Bible paints the picture for us as fathers, to think of yourself as the spiritual leader of your son. Don't just teach them about sports or about finances or about girls. Also teach them about God. This is your responsibility. And I love that he says that Solomon needs to worship and serve God with your whole heart and with a willing mind. Those are wise words of instruction for every father to communicate to his son. And then I love this part here, and I've seen this in the book of Jeremiah, but I've never noticed this before in First Chronicles. David says, if you seek him, you will find him. What a promise to make sure to be communicating to our sons. But then look at the warning that comes next. He says, but if you forsake him, he will reject you forever, so take this seriously. You know, in my own life, it's easier for me to be encouraging to my son than to warn him about what'll happen if he's not making right choices. And I love that David here does both. He says, if you seek God, you'll find him. What a great promise. But then he also gives him the other side of the coin. He says, if you don't, if you make the wrong choice, if you forsake God, he'll reject you. Dads, it's important for us to tell our sons to take a pursuit of God seriously. And then I just love the last part of this. He says, be strong and do the work. Now, the work that Solomon had to do in particular was to build the temple. David wasn't going to be the one to build it. Solomon was. But I think we can generalize this statement and really speak this same thing to our kids. Sons, be strong, do the work. In fact, David says it again in verse 20. He says, be strong and courageous and do the work. And then he says, don't be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Dads, here's how you pass your faith on to your sons. You don't just talk about something that he should do. You talk about something that you are doing. Dads, I hope that you can say words like this to your sons even today, not just at the end of your life, but even today. I hope you're inviting your sons to follow your God. I hope you can say to your sons, hey, this isn't just something I want you to do when I'm dead and gone. This is something that I have decided to do. He's not just your God, he's also my God. I hope that we are challenging and inviting our sons to follow the God that we have followed. That's what David is doing here with Solomon. And if you look at the passage that's parallel in 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 2, he says, I'm going where everyone on earth must someday go. David was about to die. And then he just says, take courage and be a man. Fathers, don't wait until your deathbed to speak these words to your son.